Saturn is known for its beautiful and iconic rings, which have fascinated astronomers and space enthusiasts for centuries. However, recent research has suggested that these rings may not be as long-lasting as we once thought, and that Saturn may be slowly losing its rings over time. In this video we will explore the reasons behind Saturn's potential ring loss and examine some of the latest scientific research on this topic. Origins of Saturn's rings. Before we can understand why Saturn may be losing its rings, it's important to understand where these rings came from in the first place. According to current theories, Saturn's rings were formed from the debris left over from the formation of the planet itself. As Saturn was forming billions of years ago, the material around it began to clump together to form the planet's moons. However, not all of this material was able to coalesce into moons, and instead formed a large ring around the planet. Over time, this ring began to break up into smaller pieces due to the gravitational interactions of Saturn's moons. Saturn's rings are made up of billions of tiny particles ranging in size from microscopic dust to large boulders. Ring loss mechanisms. There are several reasons why Saturn may be losing its rings over time. One of the main mechanisms for ring loss is the pull of Saturn's gravity on the ring particles. As these particles orbit the planet, they are subject to gravitational forces that can cause them to slowly drift towards the planet's surface. Over time, this can cause the rings to become thinner and eventually disappear altogether. Another mechanism for ring loss is the interaction of the ring particles with Saturn's atmosphere. As the particles collide with the gas molecules in Saturn's upper atmosphere, they can become charged and be affected by the planet's magnetic field. This can cause the particles to lose energy and eventually spiral towards the planet's surface. Recent research has suggested that Saturn may be losing its rings at a faster rate than previously thought. They found that the rings may be losing as much as 22,000 pounds of material per second, which could cause the rings to disappear within the next 100 million years. In 2019, researchers analyzed data from the Cassini spacecraft to estimate the age of Saturn's rings. They found that the rings may have formed only 10 to 100 million years ago, which is relatively young in astronomical terms. This could suggest that the rings are not as stable as we once thought, and could be disappearing faster than expected. Implications for the future. The appearance of the rings could lead to changes in the planet's magnetic field and atmosphere, which could in turn affect its moons and potentially even its habitability. However, it's important to note that the loss of Saturn's rings is still a relatively slow process, and we may not see any significant changes for millions of years. Don't forget to subscribe the channel.